Alright, so today we're going to be talking about Boruto chapter 59, which just dropped on the 20th. Alright, so there's a lot of stuff I want to cover in this chapter and a lot of new information, so let's kind of jump straight into it. It kind of opens out with Kawaki having a nightmare of him being strangled by Code, essentially because Code is jealous of Kawaki being the vessel for Ishiki Otsutsuki. And previously we knew that Code had the white karma, but we didn't realize that he could fully activate it, and you see him with the fully activated karma like spread throughout his body. And he wakes up in Amado's lab, and essentially this is the part where Amado tells him Kawaki says that he was having a nightmare about Code, and he mentions that he's not Ishiki's vessel anymore because Ishiki died. But Amado says that he's actually wrong. He's still the vessel, and that's never really gonna change. That kind of pisses off Kawaki, and he pushes Amado up against the wall, but Amado kind of like continues to explain that just because Ishiki's dead, that doesn't mean he's not his vessel anymore. And he mentions he actually knows way more than he lets on. Like, he mentions that Boruto's plan might actually work with the karma, and how it's highly questionable whether you can implant another karma into his body because he already has one, and how even if it is successful, he's not going to just wait around. He's going to try to kill everybody before the karma fully overtakes him. And this is when he brings up something kind of interesting. He says that he uses the fact that Kawaki wants to protect Naruto by drawing him in with the fact that he can bring back his karma. So we knew this was going to happen, right? We knew that Kawaki was going to end up getting his karma back. We didn't know exactly how. We predicted it might have to do with Amado or something like that, and exactly it does. He gives him the opportunity to get back his karma because he says that if Naruto were to fight Code, it would not go like when he fought Delta. First of all, he doesn't have the Nine Tails anymore, and he probably would lose the fight. So he offers Kawaki the opportunity to have the karma seal strictly as a weapon, kind of like a brand new power. And Amado said that he fills all the criteria, so he can kind of give him back the karma, right? He basically plays some mind games with Kawaki, saying like, you know, you want it, you know what I mean? And obviously, as we've seen from the last couple of chapters, when Boruto fought Kawaki in the little training field, we saw that Kawaki tried to absorb one of Boruto's attacks, even though he didn't have the karma seal. So we see that he kind of subconsciously does miss it, and he's really messing with Kawaki here. Kawaki kind of leaves, and this is where we jump to Code and Eida. They're kind of discussing what they're going to do with the Hokage, Boruto, and Naruto. Obviously, Eida wants Kawaki alive because he's one of the few people who have Otsutsuki DNA besides Boruto. It basically means that her abilities, where everybody just falls for her, will just not work on Kawaki, which means that the love between them will be more genuine, which is what she's looking for here. And because Code is all over Eida, he agrees not to kill Kawaki, but he is going to kill Naruto and everybody else. This is also another moment that's kind of interesting because she brings up the fact that she can't actually fight, right? She can see. She has some very unique abilities where, like her Senrigan, like in her clairvoyance, which allows her to basically spy on people and have everybody fall in love with her, but she cannot actually fight. She says she can only perform simple taijutsu, which kind of takes Code by surprise. He thought that she would be an amazing fighter due to the fact that she was one of the cyborgs and creations of Amado that could have hypothetically been used to kill Ishiki. I don't know what Eida would have done in that scenario, but we can obviously see that Code has a huge crush on her. He says, "Oh, I see, so delicate," and so he's not turned down by the fact that she can't fight whatsoever. But again, as we know, this was going to be a little bit of a fluff chapter before the time skip, you know, just to give us a little bit more information. And she calls Code she says that she'll be the eyes and Code can be her knight, which Code likes that idea, and she decides to introduce him to her other knight. Almost perfect timing, we jump back to Kawaki. He's in the village walking around. Shikadai finds him and just wants to say hi, and we can see the kind of mental struggle that he's having, little internal struggle and dialogue, where we see that he definitely wants to get the karma seal back, but he doesn't feel like he should. But we obviously know he's gonna get it back, so skip it back to Amado. Jumping back to Amado, and I believe it's Sumire. She's gonna get upset at Amado for bringing up the fact that he can bring back the karma seal, and he goes on and on about explaining about comparing the karma seal to a house. Kind of boring, but basically he's just saying that he can't create it, but if it's already there, you know what I mean? Like, if Kawaki's already fills the qualifications to have the karma seal, he can bring it back, and yada yada. And he's acting really suspicious in this chapter. Like, Sumire asks him if he has any other intentions for restoring Kawaki's karma seal, and he gives her the weirdest side eye panel I've ever seen. Like, clearly suspicious. Again, we jump back to Code and Eida. There's a lot of jumping around in this chapter, but there is some interesting information. They go back to where Eida was stored, and next to her is another capsule holding another potential cyborg. Eida mentions it's the only other person besides Inosuke who is capable of killing her. She opens it up and it's empty, but a little kid jumps on Code's back, and Code's about to attack him. but it becomes very clear that this is Eida's little brother. And right off the bat, we find out what his abilities are because some guards come to kind of you know, take control of the situation. As soon as they draw their weapons, they all die. It's kind of weird. Like, it's very weird watching it because the little kid doesn't really do anything, but she soon describes that he can reflect people's attacks, and even before they decide to do it, as soon as they like think of performing an attack, that attack is reflected upon themselves. They're all defeated by like slices and weapons that they were planning on using. And this little kid's name is Daemon, or Daemon, however you pronounce it. And again, before the chapter ends, we have one final cut back to Eida and Sumire, back to Amado and Sumire, where they're still talking about basically the same thing. And Amado has his own suspicions on why Sumire wanted to become his assistant, and she said that she did it of her own free will, and she's very worried about Kawaki and Boruto. And he basically says that she's either really smart or really stupid, and he says, which is it? Because he says that if she was silent, then she would have drawn out more intel. And then she says, so you are plotting something, right? And then he proceeds to say, so you're just stupid. So I don't know, you can take this a variety of different ways. Maybe I'm just stupid, but the way that I see this is either he's innocent little man who just calls her stupid for even daring to assume that he has any malintent, but by the fact that we have the side eye and we've kind of been sussing him out for a while, I can assume that he says that she's just stupid because she just gave away the fact that she was suspicious of him. And he can either kill her, put her out of the picture, or whatever, but he now knows that she was suspicious of him, which is a huge advancement, and I don't think that she's going to get any further information from him whatsoever, even if he does have ulterior motives. But anyways, the chapter ends off there. There's a lot of other information that we see here, from like Code's white karma to a little bit more action with the Senrigan. We get a new character. Again, not too much of an action-oriented chapter, just more of a little fluff in between chapter that kind of gives us some more information, background information that we might need later on, which is, you know, to be seen for every anime. But again, the time skip is coming, and it's coming very soon. So I'm assuming in the next couple of chapters, maybe 1 or 2 more fluff chapters, we might actually get there. But we'll see how it goes. I don't think the next week is going to be the time skip, just the way that this one left off. I feel like we might still get a little more dialogue between Sumire and Amado in the next chapter, but I don't know, we'll see. I do have a couple of video ideas about things that I do want to talk about on the channel, such as Eida's Dojutsu, the Senrigan, Code's white karma, and some theories I have for the Boruto Kawaki fight later on. If you guys like more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.